Hi everyone, good morning. Today is 17th of January and welcome to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, let's start with the video. So in the today's session, we are going to discuss entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper with their background as well as the way forward in articles we'll take. Now, I would like to tell you that if you are joining here for the first time, you can download the synoptic notes of this session, the explainer notes of this session. They are given at Telegram channel, and link for Telegram channel is given in description box in YouTube, or you can visit Telegram and can search the channel by typing Thinking Palette by Sahil. Now, first of all, let's see overview of entire newspaper so that we can understand that which articles will be important. Exports drop by 12.2% in year on slow demand. Now see this thing, that basically guys, when we talk about the monthly data as a trends in this particular direction. Okay, so here what has happened, December 2022 data has been compared with December 2021. So now understand this particular thing, that you need not to track every month's data on export, import, forex cover, fine, all such kind of things. When economic survey will come, broad yearly picture will see there. So no need to go too much here. And here we see that an unfortunate incident had happened where Yeti Airlines plane crashed in Nepal, and till now the report is there that all the people who were on board, they have died. Moving on, guys, in this particular direction further. Here we see this thing, constitution is the holy book for RJD, not important article with respect to the examination, political article. Then in city section, we see this particular thing, that in Delhi, the conflict between LG and Chief Minister's office is still going on. Moving on in this particular direction, guys, the tenders, advertisements, etc. are there in the newspaper. You no need to go too much in this detail. Okay. So moving on, guys, in this particular direction, the similar regional issues, advertisements are continuing. Here we come on editorial page. The first article, this is an address of great constitutional importance. So briefly we'll see this article. This article is all about recent issue where Tamil Nadu governor has skipped certain of the portions in governor's address. Then side article, leading from the front. This article talks about Global South Summit that has been opened by India recently. We'll see this article, time to streamline the Provident Fund pension scheme. We'll see this particular article, guys, with respect to the examination. Then social equalizer. So here we see that Union Cabinet has recently cleared a scheme where 2600 crore rupees fiscal support will be provided to the bank so that they can promote the digital transactions. Then moving on in this particular direction, balance fiscal consolidation with growth. Okay, so we'll see this particular article, guys, again, that what are the important key takeaways. Congress's Kerala prop plan, not important article with respect to examination. Nepal has too many air crash deaths relative to its air traffic. So guys, here basically the air crashes that have happened in different countries, it has been provided here. Now you don't need to track that how many airplane crash in the different countries, etc. have happened. Then coming to text and context, the Delhi's CMLG stalemate continues. Okay, we'll take important relevant substance. Why is Kerala opposing the new electricity rules? We'll see this particular article also. Then coming to plagiarism and malicious intent, does chat GPT have an ethics problem? Okay, we'll see this particular article with respect to the examination. Then further moving on, Rijiju seeks government nominees in court collegium's right to CGI. Okay, so we'll take, guys, this article as what it is talking about. Then justice denied activists fighting for Joshimath. So we have seen in the previous days newspapers that the town of Joshimath is sinking, land subsidence is going on, and government had ordered that new construction cannot be carried here and people have to evacuate. But people are asking about the compensation and their rehabilitation. Clarity is not there on this particular front. Then further moving on, after that, invitation to Egypt's president for Republic Day celebration has been made. Then after that, guys, Supreme Court verdict exposes negative campaign against Modi, BJP. Political article, no need to go too much in detail. ISRO likely to push Venus mission Shukrayaan to 2031. We'll take this particular article with respect to the examination. Supreme Court to hear petitions against marital rape from March 21. So basically, when we talk about, guys, marital rape right now is not a crime in India, but many petitions have been filed that marital rape should be considered as a crime. So for that particular thing, petitions will be heard. Then further moving on, video gaming industry separate from real money games. Will take the article. Then further, guys, moving on in this particular direction, guys. Uh, As talks with Tamil's Dragon Ranil pledges full implementation of 13th Amendment, we'll take this particular article with respect to the examination. Then further coming on business page, wholesale inflation to 22-month low, fine, and then other corporate trends, etc. have been given here. Okay, and then we have the sports page. So guys, now let's start the detailed discussion of all the important and relevant articles one by one. Just a minute, guys. Okay. So in every class, we start with the GS quotation. Today we'll take the GS quotation from William Slim. So William Slim says, moral courage is higher and a rarer virtue than physical courage. So moral courage, guys, moral courage pertains to often there are certain ideologies, often there are certain ideas which we know are wrong, but we are not able to raise our voices against those wrong ideas and those wrong ideologies. So in order to put forward our viewpoint, what we need a moral courage. Fine. So this moral courage, where we can raise the voice against injustice, where we can raise the voice against wrong, it is more important and it is a higher virtue, it is a more important virtue than just the physical courage. So mental courage, moral courage is more important. We can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4, ethics. Okay, now taking up the first article. So the first article, guys, we have taken here from the text and the context section, and the article talks about plagiarism and malicious intent. Does Chat GPT have an ethics problem? Now this particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 4, cyber ethics. Now before going in this particular article, let's take some of the basic information that we need to know. So guys, we have seen that over the past few months, there are a lot of developments that have happened in artificial intelligence. And a new type of artificial intelligence have become very popular, that is generative AI. Generative AI. Now, what is this generative AI? Generative AI are the platforms which can generate tailored, customized responses. For example, there is DALL-E. There is DALL-E. Now, if you go to DALL-E.ai's platform, you can type anything and it will generate a picture for you. For example, you can type that a man, a man sipping cola on the moon. It will give you, it will make that image for you. Then we have many other platforms also. For example, Chat GPT. Chat GPT. So recently, OpenAI has launched their platform Chat GPT, on which you can type a query and it will give reply to you, it will give response to you. You can ask anything from Chat GPT. Few days back I have also shown you how Chat GPT works in real time. I have shown you that platform also. So you can type here any query, for example, what is Niti Aayog, and it will give you a customized answer. You obviously can do that thing on Google also, but what Google will do, Google will show you the links of the websites which are containing the information about Niti Aayog, and you need to go on a particular site and you need to check that information. But Chat GPT will give you a kind of a paragraph or will give you an essay on Niti Aayog. Now this Chat GPT's usage is huge. For example, this Chat GPT can write a computer code for you. It can correct your computer code if it has any kind of a problem. So it has been said that this Chat GPT, which is a generative artificial intelligence, it has stunned the people around the world and people are using it, but at the same time it has some ethical problems, certain moral problems. So let's see what ethicals and moral problems are there in this Chat GPT platform. So basically, guys, it has been provided. Just a minute. Yes. So as we talk about the Chat GPT, Fine. So as we talk about this particular platform, that is Chat GPT, we find this particular thing that it has a certain problems. Number one, today we see this thing that the basically amateurs, people are using this particular platform to write the phishing code, to write the malware, okay, basically malwares or viruses. So they are using this particular Chat GPT for designing such kind of a malwares. Okay, this is something that has been a problem. Now point is that, guys, when we talk about this Chat GPT, it is programmed to block such obvious request to write phishing email, to write the codes for malware, to write the code for viruses. It has blocked such kind of a request. But many people, what they are doing, they are asking for this particular code in bits and pieces, and then they combine it. So this Chat GPT's abilities are being used for writing, for enhancing the malicious code, for tricking this particular platform, for correcting the malicious code, fine, in such particular kind of a directions. Moreover, many number of times it has also been seen that the codes that it is generating, Chat GPT is generating, these codes are buggy codes. Now what are the buggy codes? Buggy codes are those codes which already have bugs in it, which already have flaws in it, or in later phases the bugs will develop in that particular code, and these particular codes are being used for making of software, for making of certain programs. And if these codes inherently have bug, later word there will be a problem. So point that has come here is that artificial intelligence, though it has a lot of capabilities, but still we cannot be dependent completely on artificial intelligence such as Chat GPT, and it has ethical challenges as it is being used for the wrong purposes. Guys, understand this particular thing, that whenever we talk about any tool can have dual purposes, okay, and in the same way Chat GPT is being used for the negative things. Moreover, there is also one more ethical challenge that comes here in this particular direction. See, today it has also been found that the teachers, when they are giving assignment to their students to write an essay or to do some kind of a research work, students, what they are doing, they are simply going to Chat GPT and they are just giving the command on Chat GPT, and they are getting ready-made essays, ready-made assignment, ready-made research works from Chat GPT. So basically it has led to the problem of plagiarism. It has led to the problem of plagiarism. Now guys, what do we understand by plagiarism? So plagiarism is a tendency. Now fine, when somebody else's content is copied, that is called as plagiarism. Okay, because of this particular thing. Moreover, many number of times the teachers, they don't have so much of time, invigilators, they don't have so much of time, and therefore they are also not even to ensure that whether the essay was completely written by that student or it was copied from Chat GPT. Because of this particular thing, recently New York's city education department has also banned Chat GPT from public schools. They cannot be used by any of the device which is networked with the school. They cannot use this Chat GPT. Now the point that has come here is that this, actually it is not, even if a person has presented some content and a person is saying that it is his own content, where basically we don't have that much tools to verify. Moreover, when there is so much of volume, how to verify every claim that whether it was unique or it has generated by these artificial intelligence platforms? So this is one ethical challenge that comes in this particular direction, and this particular ethical challenge is to be taken care of as soon as possible. So in cyber ethics GS paper number 4, we find this thing that a new dimension is opening up, and this dimension is about the ethics of artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is, guys, all about this particular article. Now moving to the next article. Fine. Okay, guys, there is one question that basically newspaper analysis yesterday. Fine, that is on 16th and 15th. I just want to clarify one thing, that our initiative is Monday to Saturday. Okay, and 15th was a Sunday, and 16th yesterday Hindu newspaper was not published because of the Pongal, and I have shared that video also on our YouTube channel as well as on Telegram. Okay, so yesterday Hindu newspaper was not published. Okay, now moving on, the next article. Okay, leading from front. Now this particular article, guys, is talking about recently concluded, this article is talking about recently concluded Voice of Global South Summit. Voice of Global South Summit. Now, we'll see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 2, International Relation, India's Leadership Role. Okay. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about Global South, what do we understand by the word Global South? See this thing. Basically, world is divided in, fine, there is a geographical division, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. But along with that geographical division, we find this thing that the countries of northern hemisphere, which includes Europe, which includes North America, these countries are relatively more developed. Socio-economic indicators are better there in these particular countries. But at the same time, global south, it is the term which it is a term which signifies the developing countries, emerging countries, or the least developed countries. So global south and global north has a kind of an apparent divide. Moreover, there are also many disputes within the global north and global south that are there, and these disputes are on multiple factors. For example, on climate change. Okay, always global south countries, developing countries, they have asked this thing that global north developed countries need to give them technology, they need to give them finance. Then there are other issues also. For example, on trade as well, there are the disputes between global south developing countries and global north developed countries. Is it clear or not? North wants that the developing countries should open their market for free trade, but developing countries, if they will open their market, what will happen? Their indigenous manufacturing might be negatively impacted. So on climate, on trade, on many other issues, on patent, okay, on patent protection, there are issues that are there in global north and global south. So now what has happened? India has inaugurated this global south, Voice of Global South Summit, and in this Voice of Global South Summit, India is representing itself as leader of the global south, as the leader of the developing countries, and all the issues of developing countries that are there, it will be kept by India in united capacity in front of the global north. Is it clear or not? So, to be the leader of developing countries, to be the leader of the global south, India has inaugurated this Global South Summit. Fine. Voice of the Global South Summit. Now, as this Voice of Global South Summit has been launched, first of all, guys, some of the initiatives have been taken by India here in this Global South Summit. They are not mentioned in this particular article, but if a question comes here, you need to write them. Okay. So, what are these initiatives that India has taken at this Voice of Global South Summit? Number one, Arogya Maitri. Arogya Maitri. Now, Arogya Maitri, it is India's initiative to provide medical supplies to any developing country which is hit by a natural disaster. So, if India wants to project itself as a leader of the global south, India needs to understand global south's problem. All the developing countries, often they have a lot of challenge in procuring essential medical supplies. So India will supply that under Arogya Maitri. Next is Global South Science and Technology Initiative. Now guys, when we talk about India's expertise in space technology, ISRO, fine, Indian Space Research Organization, DRDO, okay, fine, ISRO is in space, DRDO is in defense. Moreover, on other many fronts also, India has achieved a lot of success. So therefore, India will share the expertise on the technology areas under this Global South Science and Technology Initiative. Then Global South Center for Excellence. Okay. Now guys, this particular area, this particular Global South Center for Excellence will be focusing on those technologies which are crucial for development. Okay, so developmental challenges will be identified, and how the developmental challenges can be solved, what technologies are needed, that those technologies will be provided to them, it will be scaled. Fine. Then Global South Young Diplomat Forum has also been launched. In this Global South Young Diplomat Forum, will try to connect the young, basically young foreign officials, fine, from the global southern countries. They will come together and they will discuss the common themes. So young foreign officials, young diplomats will be coming together. Then the next is Global South Scholarship. Global South Scholarship. So India is also projecting itself to be an educational hub. Okay, and as India is projecting itself as an educational hub, India will give scholarships to the students from global south so that they can come in India and they can study, they can get better education in India. Okay. And then, so these are basically all the initiatives that we have launched in the Global Voice of South Summit. Fine, please keep it in your mind. Now, this Global South Summit has a lot of important role to play. Why it has an important role to play? Because guys, see this thing, now you already know this thing, that India's G20 presidency for 2023 has begun from December. And as India is going to be the president of G20, India has to take certain initiatives for which India will be remembered on the global scale. And now India is projecting itself as the leader. Okay, India is projecting itself as a leader. Now it is also a departure from India's looking towards the high table of global leadership. See, in the past, India tried to project itself a global leader. But you see this thing, we cannot project ourselves as a global leader until and unless we become the leaders of the countries who are developing first. So basically, if you want to develop global hegemony, first you need to focus on regional hegemony. After regional hegemony, global hegemony is to be achieved. So first we want to be leader of Asia, then we want to be leader of entire developing countries, and then we can claim the global hegemony. Earlier India was directly looking on global leadership, but now we have changed our approach. We are first be focusing on developing leadership in developing world and then on the global. Moreover, as we talk about guys that India becoming the south voice of the global south, understand this is also because China is a credible contender in this particular direction. China always have tried to showcase itself as a leader, but the entire world countries, particularly developing countries, they have come to know about the China's ulterior designs, China's debt trap diplomacy, how China tries to how China has tried to form alliances with the countries, how China often has not respected the sovereignty of many of the countries. These countries have recognized. So therefore now India is showcasing itself as a compassionate and responsible leader. Moreover, Prime Minister has pushed for human-centered or humanistic globalization. Human-centered globalization. Okay. Moreover, guys, understand this particular thing, that all the challenges of the global south that have been there, fine, India will put forward all these particular kind of challenges. Fine. So expediting climate change goals, fine, at the cost of development, immigration, work mobility of skilled population. Okay, all these particular factors will be provided by India. Moreover, guys, understand this particular thing. This Global South Summit also shows a kind of a change in India's foreign policy outlook. Okay, now guys, understand this particular thing, that government reclaimed the true meaning of non-alignment in the wake of Ukraine war, where it refused to take any side. Okay, so West continuously nudged India that India should condemn Russia, India should take the West's side, but India said that no, will not take any side. India showcased the strategic autonomy in this particular direction, and now here, guys, again we see this particular thing, that we are becoming again a more independent voice. Okay, by showcasing the showcasing ourselves as the leader of South. Now, here in this particular Global South Summit, there are certain other key points also that should not be missed. Number one, exclusions. Pakistan and Afghanistan were excluded. They were not invited. Pakistan and Afghanistan were excluded, though they also come in Global South. And at the same time, Myanmar was included. Now, see this thing, we know this thing, that in Myanmar, the military coup has happened, and after that military coup, we see this thing that democratic leaders have been jailed, civil liberties are getting crushed every day there, but still Myanmar has been included. Now, including Myanmar is a strategic need of India. If we'll not enter, if we'll not include Myanmar, Myanmar will go near to China. So therefore, this is a strategic step that India has taken. Okay, so this is something that has happened, guys, and basically by fostering South cooperation, by raising the matters of the South, fine, India will be able to showcase as a responsible power. Fine. So that is all about this particular article. I hope, guys, that you have understood it. And now we'll move to the next article. Okay. The Delhi CM LG stalemate continues. Okay. So basically, guys, this particular article is talking about recent controversy going on in Delhi between the Chief Minister and Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. Now, this particular article is just telling that, okay, on Thursday this happened, on Tuesday that happened, on Friday that happened. article doesn't contains much of substance, but I have, but we have basically taken that what are important articles in this particular line from academic point of view. Okay, so the article is not containing much important thing, but this topic is anyhow important. The topic is anyhow important, so we will go little bit beyond what's written in this article because it is more politicized, and academically we will see this particular issue now. Okay, now guys, first of all, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about India, India has been India has been referred as union of states. India has been referred as union. India, that is Bharat, has been referred as union of states. But still, we follow federal design. But still, we follow federal design. Though federalism is not mentioned into the chapter of union and territories, but still we follow federalism. In federalism, we find this particular thing, that power is divided for union and states. At least two tiers of government will be there, union and state, and they both will be supreme in their own respective spheres. We have schedule 7 in our constitution, and in schedule 7 there are three lists that have been mentioned, that is union list, state list, and concurrent list. Now union list, where the subjects of union list, parliament is supreme. The subjects of state list, state legislature is supreme, though there are some other conditions where parliament can take over, but still state is supreme. So in design, India is federal. Now when we talk about, guys, India, we have union, we have states. Now union and states are the active member of federalism. They are the active member of federalism. But at the same time, there are union territories also. There are union territories also. Now when we talk about union territories, they are not the active member in federalism. They are not active member in federalism. Union territories are directly under the control of a central government. President will appoint administrator or a lieutenant governor for UTs, and UTs will directly be under the control of the central government. Is it clear or not? But there are certain union territories which have been given relatively more power. There are certain union territories which have been given relatively more power. And here we have the provision that Puducherry, we have this particular provision that Puducherry, Union Territory of National Capital Territory of Delhi, National Capital Territory of Delhi, and J&K. J&K. These three union territories can have their own legislature. These three union territories can have their own legislature. So these three union territories have been given a special place. Now we'll talk about the Delhi. So basically, guys, when we talk about the Delhi, Delhi has been given the status of National Capital Territory. Delhi has a legislature. Delhi has a legislature. It has a council of minister. Okay, and special status of Delhi has been provided in Article 239AA. Special provisions for the Union Territory of Delhi, they are provided in Article 239AA, which provides that the Delhi will have legislature, it will have council of minister, and it can make the laws on all the subjects mentioned in state list. They can make the law on all the subjects mentioned into the state list, except three subjects, that is police, land, and law and order. Apart from these three subjects, they can make the law on any subject mentioned in the state list. Fine. So Article 239AA provides this particular thing. Now guys, basically, again and again, there is one issue that has come in the news, and this issue is this, that many number of times lieutenant governor, he has tried to interfere in the independent functioning of the chief minister and the council of minister and legislative assembly of Delhi. So we find this particular thing, that legislative assembly of Delhi, chief minister plus Delhi assembly, they have their disputes with the LG. We have seen this particular thing, that LG often had tried to interfere into the day-to-day affairs, day-to-day matters. Okay, Many number of times LG had referred to many matters to the President of India, to have referred the matters to the President of India. Now we know this particular thing, that President will always act on the aid and advice of the Council of Minister and Prime Minister. So what has happened in the matters of Delhi, LG had tried to bring central government. Okay, this is something that has happened in the past. For this particular matter, the there was Delhi government reached to the Supreme Court also, and NCT judgment, NCT, National Capital Territory of NCT Delhi judgment was given by Supreme Court in 2018. And in this particular judgment, Supreme Court very clearly provided that the word government means the assembly. Okay, the word government of Delhi means the legislative assembly and chief minister. Lieutenant governor will not be having much role in day-to-day administration of Delhi, and day-to-day matters of Delhi cannot be referred to president also. This was very clearly provided in NCT Delhi judgment of 2018. Moreover, it was also provided that the LG has to act on aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, that was very clearly provided. Now guys, there is again one more new dispute that has come between Delhi and Lieutenant Governor's office. And now the dispute has come as who will control the bureaucracy in Delhi, who will control the civil servants in Delhi. Now Delhi's chief minister has accused Lieutenant Governor that LG is issuing orders on practically every subject directly to the chief secretary, who is a civil servant. So directly any matter is being suggested to the chief secretary, any decision is being conveyed to the chief secretary, and chief secretary is implementing that decision. And what has happened, completely they have bypassed the elected government. Now the question comes that the chief secretary and other civil servants, are they accountable to lieutenant governor, are they accountable to lieutenant governor, or they are accountable to government, chief minister, council of ministers? Who will control them? Now this matter has become a new dispute between Delhi government and lieutenant governor. Now guys, this particular matter has been referred to Supreme Court. That particular matter has been referred to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is hearing this particular matter as of now. Now, the Delhi chief minister had said that he is the king without the kingdom. Okay, if the king doesn't have its officials, okay, then the king cannot function. So in the same way, we find this particular thing, that this issue has developed now, and now we'll see that how Supreme Court will further be responding in this particular matter. Already I have told you 2018 judgment which has already been provided. Now according to Delhi government, when we talk about the implementation of government policy, government schemes, government laws in Delhi, they are dependent on civil servants. And if civil servants will not be under the control of the Delhi government, they cannot do this particular thing. And excluding civil servants from a local or state government will completely negate the autonomy, which was the very purpose of federalism. 239 AA aimed to give governance powers to Delhi, but that particular thing will completely be defeated. Is it clear or not? Now, when we talk about this particular issue, in 2019, a two-judge bench of the court had given a split opinion on the question of control over civil servants in Delhi. One judge said that they will be controlled by central government, fine. Other said that they will be controlled by the state government. So split judgment came, and now the matter has been referred to Constitution Bench of Supreme Court. Constitution Bench has minimum 5 judges. Okay, so we'll see over the coming days as what will come in this particular direction. Okay, now, okay guys, so this is all about it. And again, this particular article is just talking about the political dimension that is there, so no need to go and read this particular article as per se. Now coming to next article, this is an address of great constitutional importance. Let's take this particular article. By the way guys, if you are following our newspaper analysis regularly, we have already seen this particular article, fine. So what the Hindu newspaper does, they get one issue, okay, and then they often report that issue so many times. We have seen earlier freebie issue when it was going on every day, one article was coming on freebie. Then many other issues in this particular direction has come. So now the hot issue which is being reported every day is a tussle between government of Tamil Nadu and governor of Tamil Nadu. Okay. So we know this particular thing, and if you don't know, not at all an issue, we'll see this particular thing. So basically, recently what has happened, Tamil Nadu governor was making an address in Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu. Now, at fine every year, the first session of every new year or the first session after general elections, governor has to make an address, and in that particular address, governor will highlight as what is government's focus areas, what government has done in past, what government is planning to do in the future. So that governor address is made. Recently what has happened, when Tamil Nadu governor was making an address to the members of the Tamil Nadu assembly, he skipped certain paragraphs in that particular address, in that particular speech. That paragraph contained the references of certain great leaders as well as Dravidian model of governance which was mentioned. He skipped that particular reference. Then what happened? Legislative assembly members, they started to protest that why you did not mention that particular part of speech. Then he walked out of the house. Fine. This issue that has happened. And now guys, again the article is critically analyzing this particular issue. Now, first of all, Article 176. Article 176 of the Constitution mandates governor, that governor has to mandatorily address the members of legislature at the commencement of the first session of every year. So this was being carried, Article 176. There is Article 175 also. Article 175. Article 175 talks about the general address. Understand, Article 176, this address is which governor has to make at commencement of new year or after the elections have been conducted. Article 175, it is talking about a general address. Governor at other times also can also give the address in the front of the legislative assembly. Now, the address under Article 175 is not a mandatory address unlike the Article 176. Now, under Article 176, when an address is made under Article 176, this particular address contains the policies, programs of the elected government. Now, elected government is accountable to the legislature, executive is accountable to the legislature. So, legislature need to know that what government has done, what government has missed and all these kind of things. So, therefore, whatever address, whatever speech has been prepared by the government, that speech is given to governor, and governor has no discretion that governor should skip certain part. Governor has to deliver that particular speech as it is. Moreover, it has also been provided that on this, there is also the issue that happens. Okay, skipping the address would simply mean that the governor does not approve or agree with the government's idea. Okay, but the point is that guys, when we talk about governor has to act as per aid and advice of the council of minister and the chief minister. Okay, now when we talk about this particular speech, it does not contain any of the personal views of the governor. It only contains the views of the elected government. So why governor skipped the speech? Why he did not give an opportunity to house to hear the complete ideas of the government? This is something that has been provided. Moreover, there are some other issues also which have become a kind of a point of confrontation between government and the governor, and this particular issue, for example, continuously sitting on a bill. So we have seen this particular thing that many number of times when the bill has been cleared by the legislative assembly, governor is not clearing that particular bill. Article 200 is very clear in this particular direction. Article 200 provides that when a bill has been passed by legislative assembly, governor either give assent to that particular bill, you give assent to that particular bill, you withhold assent, you say that okay, I'll not give the assent to that particular bill. You can send back bill to the assembly. So you give assent, you say that I'll not give assent, you send back the bill to the assembly, or if you want, you can send the bill for the consideration of the president. These four things can be done. But what governor is doing? Governor is not doing anything. Government is simply sitting on the bill, neither approving it, nor rejecting it, not sending it back, not giving to president. So this is also one more issue that has come. Now, it has been provided that Article 200 nowhere it mentions that governor can Fine. Article 200 clearly shows that governor cannot sit on the bill. Nowhere such power has been given her, but governor has abused this particular power. Moreover, Supreme Court also in Shamsher Singh judgment of 1974 and Nibam Rabi judgment of 2016 very clearly had provided this particular thing, that a governor can act only on the aid and advice of the Council of Minister and cannot exercise apart from that. But still, governor what has done? He has not respected this particular spirit. And even Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Dr. B.R. Ambedkar clearly provides in the Constituent Assembly that if the Constitution remains in principle the same as we intend that it should be, that the governor should be purely constitutional governor with no power or interference in the administration of the province. Governor is a ceremonial role which need to ensure that friction-free governance is carried. Governor should itself not become the source of that friction and confrontation. That is which has been clearly provided here in this particular article. Okay. Now, moving to next article. Okay. Balance fiscal consolidation with growth. Balance fiscal consolidation with growth. Okay. Now, guys, I'll not suggest you to go too much in this particular article. Why? Because this particular article, guys, is talking about the expectations from upcoming budget. But just in few days time, just in 2 weeks or more time, 2 weeks time, budget will actually be coming. We'll see what budget provides, what budget doesn't provides. So till that time, all the articles which are speculating in budget that this will be there, that will be there, they will become meaningless once real actual budget will come. Now the article is just talking about this particular thing, that 2022-2023. Now this is an article which you can see with respect to the GS paper number 3 economy. Now the article is talking about that 22-23 was expected to be a normal year, but Russian invasion happened. Because of that, supply chains got disrupted, inflation became very much high. So many challenges came in 2023. Okay, we also find this particular thing, that critical imports got disrupted. Fine, price of import goods increased. Then there was global slowdown that started, growth came very much down. India's performance has been relatively better. India's performance has been relatively better, but not very good. Now, in this particular capacity, guys, there are certain data that have been given. Now, it has been said that when we talk about India's GDP, it has been said that India's GDP at the end of the present fiscal year will only be at 5.7% higher than 2019-20. Now, this is good but not satisfactory. We also find this particular thing that the fiscal deficit has increased a lot. Fiscal deficit has increased a lot. Now, what is fiscal deficit, guys? When government spends more than what it is receiving, then that deficit, fiscal deficit. Now we see this thing that in the times of pandemic, government's revenue streams went down, but expenditures increased. So fiscal deficit has increased. Now government's priority, government's focus will be to reduce the fiscal deficit. Okay. And in upcoming budget, that particular thing should be reflected and needs to be reflected. Okay. Now, as we talk about the global growth patterns as well as India's growth patterns, according to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, they provide that growth rate will be, global economy's growth rate will be around 2.2%, fine, in 23 and 5.7% for India. IMF has estimated higher growth rate. According to IMF, global growth rate will be at 2.7% and India's growth rate will be at 6.1%. However, the point that comes here is that these datas are, even though they are projecting India's growth rate higher than the global growth rate, but still India, being a developing country, has to scale at least double-digit growth for few years, because China, only after receiving the double-digit growth for nearly 2 decades, tried to become an economic powerhouse. Okay, so the budget should bring some deep-seated reforms in order to ensure that India comes out with this economic trouble. India focuses on sustainable management of fiscal deficit and all such kind of a thing. So there are certain corrections that are needed. Now, coming to the next article, time to streamline the Provident Fund pension scheme. Now, guys, one thing I'm telling you very clearly, see, I'm going to explain you some of the economic concepts here. Fine, we'll understand this thing from the scratch. Beyond the scope of this particular article, we'll go and we'll understand the basic concepts. But the point is that this judgment you need to understand, but you don't need to go too much in detail, because that will then not be too much relevant for the examination. So keeping it in mind, now let's start with the article. So basically guys, understand this particular, just a minute. Yes. Now see this particular thing, guys, that as we talk about now, guys, when we talk about the social justice and the social security nets, employer, unemployed, okay, employee who are working at a formal establishment, these employees deserve certain social security benefits, certain social security nets. In, for example, once they will be retired, after their retirement, how they will be taking care of their financial needs, how they will be ensuring that their kids, okay, their needs are taken care of. So certain social security nets are to be provided to the employees. For this particular thing, we have the provision for, we have the provision of employees provident fund, employees provident fund, and we have the provision of employees pension scheme, employees pension scheme. Now when we talk about employees provident fund, what it is a mandatory saving scheme, mandatory saving scheme under the Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952. And Employee Provident Fund, it is managed under the Employee Provident Fund Organization, EPFO. Any organization which is employing more than 20%, fine, which is employing more than 20%, that organization has to mandatorily adopt the Employee Provident Fund system, Employee Provident Fund system. And the second is the employee pension scheme. Okay, so guys, provident fund is the consolidated money that a person will receive upon the retirement, and pension schemes, pensions are the timely payments, fine, monthly payments usually, that will be given. Now how this employee provident fund and employee pension scheme system operates, I will show you that particular thing. So basically guys, what happens basically, fine, see this particular thing. So employee, and on another hand there is employer. Now 12% portion, 12% of the basic salary plus dearness allowance, 12% of the salary of employee will be deducted. Okay, employer will also match 12% of contribution. Employer will also match the 12% of contribution. Now understand this particular thing, guys, that employer's 12% contribution will be divided in two parts, that is 8.33% and 6.67%. Employer, fine, contribution will be divided in two parts, 8.33% and 6.67%. Now when we talk about the 8.33%, fine, it will be directed to the EPS account. It will be directed to the EPS account, that is the Employee Pension Scheme account, and 3.67% will be directed to the EPF scheme. Okay, 3.67% will be directed to the, sorry, I have written the wrong numbers. It will not be 6, it will be 3.67%. Okay, so 3.67% will be going to the EPF scheme, and 8.33% will go to the EPS. Is it clear or not? And when we talk about the employer's 12% contribution, this complete 12% contribution will go to EPF only. So certain basic things that you need to understand here, guys, is that simple. Number one, employee will contribute 12%, employer will contribute 12%. Matching amount will be contributed by employer. Point number one. Point number two, employer contribution will be divided in two parts. 8.33%, 12% will be divided in two parts. 12% will be divided in two parts, 8.33% and 3.67%. 8.33% will go to EPS, pension scheme, and 3.67% will go to EPF, provident fund. Employee 12% will go only to EPF. Okay, so employee will not contribute. Employee will not contribute to EPS. Employee will not contribute to EPS. Okay, so here we can see this thing that 12% of the employee's contribution, entire 12% of the employee contribution is solely directed to the EPF account. Is it clear? Good. Now, basically guys, what happened? Basically, when we talk about the employee pension scheme, you need to understand this particular thing, that till 2014, till 2014, what happened? Basically, it was provided that up till 6,500 rupees of salary per month, up till 6,500 rupees salary per month, it was eligible to get pensions. Okay, if your salary, now guys understand this thing, your salary was capped at 6,500 rupees. Okay, just many number of times students have a confusion. They think that only people getting 6,500 salaries get this advantage, but no, that's not the case. See this particular thing, if you have 20,000 salary, okay, you will get benefits only on the salary up to 6,500. Okay, the remaining gap 13,500, you will not give that advantage. So maximum advantage that you will get is on 6,500 rupees. Now this particular limit was increased from 6,500 to, this limit was increased from 6,500 to 15,000 in 2014. Okay, so it means that up to 15,000 rupees salary will get the benefit. If you are earning more than 50,000 rupees, then also it will be capped at 15,000 rupees of salary. Okay, so I hope that it is clear now. Now, this amendment came in 2014. This amendment came in 2014. So what happened? What happened? In 2014, the amendment came, and pension coverage extended in 2014 to employee drawing salary more than 15,000 per month. Okay, who are drawing salary of 15,000 per month also, they will get the advantage. Number one, they need to contribute 1.16% of salary exceeding 15,000 per month. Now, if you see the original idea, we see this particular thing, that employees' entire contribution of 12% was only going to EPF. Employee were not giving money to the pension scheme. But in 2014, the amendment that came, they said that they have to contribute 1.16%. Just a minute. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Yes. Now, here we can see this particular thing, that they provided that if employers are earning more than 15,000 rupees, they need to contribute 1.16% of their salary. Second thing that has been provided, that employees should have exercised option within 6 months from September 1, 2014. Okay. Moreover, there was one more thing that came. It was that only people who have joined, who were in service till 2014, they will get the advantage of the pension scheme. Okay. Now, this particular thing was challenged in Supreme Court. Why it was challenged in Supreme Court? It was said that the basic design of pension is that employee will never contribute in pension. If you see this particular thing, employee, the contribution will go only to EPF, it will not go to pension scheme. Okay, but here 1.16% has been demanded for employee also. Now, therefore, what happened? Supreme Court judgment came, and Supreme Court provided that requirement of this additional 1.16% is incorrect. Moreover, it has been provided that the entitlement is not limited to employees who had already exercised. Okay, if now also some people want to join, they can join this. If some people want to join, they can join this particular thing. Now, basically guys, it has been provided that such kind of judgment was given by Supreme Court by using its power under Article 142. Okay, under Article 142, Supreme Court can do the complete justice, and in that particular capacity, Supreme Court has provided that this additional 1.16% you cannot ask. Moreover, Supreme Court has also provided that who have not got this, who have not enrolled in this particular pension scheme, okay, they have another opportunity that over next 4 months they can opt in this particular scheme. Is it clear or not? Fine. So within the next 4 months they can opt in this particular scheme. It has been provided, and this 1.16%, it is ultra virus, they cannot ask. It goes against the Employee Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 1952. Now, the article is talking about this particular thing, that why this 1.16% extra was asked. It's because to make this entire pension scheme sustainable. To make this entire pension scheme sustainable, this 1.16% was asked. Okay. So this entire, guys, judgment has been discussed here, but just for the sake of our examinations, I'm telling you one thing very, very clearly in bold letters. You don't need to go too much in detail in this particular judgment, in this particular article, because such microscopic things are not asked in UPSC. Such microscopic things are not asked in the UPSC. So you don't need to go too much in that particular detail. Okay. So whatever we have discussed, it is more than sufficient here. Okay. And please download this PDF here. In very simple words, I have explained this entire controversy in this particular PDF. You will get it once you read it. Now, coming to the next article, social equalizer. Now, this particular article, guys, this particular article is basically talking about, this particular article is talking about the new 2600 rupees fund that has been given by, that has been cleared by Union Cabinet. 2600 crore rupees fund that has been cleared by Union Cabinet. Okay. Now, this particular fund has been given to promote the digital payments, to promote the digital payments. Now, we see this particular thing that, guys, the digital payments have actually become the foundation of digitized economy. Today we see this particular thing that when cash transactions are high, because of that particular cash transactions, black money, okay, unaccounted money, it is getting a kind of an impetus. So to control that particular thing, cashless transactions are needed to be increased, and for enhancing this particular 2600 crore rupees fund has been provided. Now, Reserve Bank of India has released the Payment Vision 2025. And in this Payment Vision 2025, they have clearly observed this thing, that the payment systems foster economic development, financial stability, and support financial inclusion. See, financial inclusion is very important. What do we understand by financial inclusion? First of all, financial inclusion means ensuring that every person has the bank account, every person has opportunity to access formal credit for a bank, they have investment option, fine, they have saving account. These things are needed to be ensured under financial inclusion. When people don't have bank account, they are not able to save. They have to borrow money, they need to go to the informal money lenders, which is often very exploitative. So if we give a bank account to people, if we ensure that digital transactions are being carried, if they are receiving their subsidies into the bank account, that will help the economy a lot. And in order to digitize our economy, in order to enhance the digital transactions, this dedicated fund has been provided. Now, we see this particular thing that in India, because of two developments, that is UPI, Bheem, digital transactions have increased. So National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, through its UPI, has brought a revolution in India. And when we talk about, guys, the latest data in December 2022, fine, UPI transactions were around 783 crore, and the value of those transactions is 12.8 lakh crore rupees only in just the month of December. And on year growth, it has been impressive. 57 times growth has been seen since 2017. So this is something that has come. Now, guys, it has been provided that digital adoption, adoption of digital payment even increased because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, it has been widened. Okay, even we have our own payment gateway, that is the RuPay credit and debit card. So it has been provided that today financial technology companies, fintechs, they have provided such tailor-made digital applications, such big technologies by which digital transactions has increased. But banks are not very much enthusiastic in this particular line. Understand this particular thing, guys. That, see, earlier, when you have to make the digital transaction, digital transactions were made by using credit or debit card. and behind the credit or debit card there was 1.3% of commission that was collected by the bank, which is called as MDR, merchant discount rate. But in UPI payments, fine, these merchant discount rate is not there. So banks are not very much enthusiastic to promote these digital payments. So therefore, in order to nudge the banks, what has happened, it has been provided that the banks need to facilitate more digital transactions, and this 2600 crore rupees funding has been provided. Now, moving guys to the next article. Okay. As the talks with the Tamils drag on, Ranil pledges full implementation of 13th Amendment. Okay. So basically, guys, what has happened? We see this thing that the President of Sri Lanka has provided that we will now fully implement the 13th Constitutional Amendment Act. So we'll see this particular article. With respect to the relations with the neighborhood international relation, IR neighborhood relations. We'll see this particular article. Now, first of all, guys, understand this particular thing, that in this article, no substance has been given. But 13th Constitutional Amendment Act is important. But 13th Amendment in lot more detail is not explained in the article. So here I am giving you some content out of this particular article, which is actually important for exam. So let's discuss about this 13th Constitutional Amendment Act. So basically, guys, what happened when we talk about Sri Lanka? We know this thing that Sri Lanka was the colony of the Britishers, and Britishers took many of the Tamilian people from Tamil Nadu to Sri Lanka so that they can work on rubber plantations and all other plantations that were there. Now, when Sri Lanka became independent, then what happened? Now in Sri Lanka, we find that majorly there were two type of people that were there. Now, the population of Sri Lanka, it contained majorly, number one, Sinhalese people. It contains Sinhalese. Now these Sinhalese, they followed Buddhism. And second were Tamilians. Now Sri Lankan constitution in the start, as well as Sri Lankan government from the start, has discriminated between Tamilians and Sinhalese. First priority has always been given to Sinhalese, and Tamilians were discriminated. Because of this particular treatment, what happened? The Tamilian resistance force emerged, which questioned the discriminatory practices of the Sri Lanka. And out of the many factions that emerged, Litte also emerged. Liberation Tigers for Tamil Elam. Litte also emerged, that is Liberation Tigers for Tamil Elam, LTTE. They provided that Tamilians should be given more representation. Tamilians should be given their due share in governance of the nation. And Litte, they started to carry their resistance against the government of Sri Lanka. Now, in order to tame this particular kind of a thing, what happened? Basically, there was Indo-Sri Lanka Accord that was signed. Between Indian Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi and Sri Lankan President HR Jayawardene. And in this particular agreement, they announced that 13th Constitutional Amendment Act will be brought in the Constitution of Sri Lanka. Now, what this Constitution Amendment was all about? This particular amendment basically aimed to provide all these particular kind of reforms. Number one, it provided that there will be the provincial councils. Now see this thing. When we talk about northeast and northeast and northern part of Sri Lanka are the one where Tamilian population live in considerable number. So it was provided that number one, provincial councils will be established so that the Tamilian people have more representation in these provincial council and they can decide on the matters of governance. Then the appointment and power of the governor of this particular provinces was also defined, where Tamilian will be given their fair share. Membership and tenure of these provincial councils were determined, where the Tamilians will have fair membership. Okay. Then the board of ministers will be appointed. Okay. Alternative arrangement where there is a failure in the administrative machinery. Establishment of finance commission for the north and northeastern where Tamilian people live, so that financial grant can be provided. Tamil will be recognized as an official language. English will be as a link language. Establishment of high court in the provinces where Tamilian people are living. So all these promises were made in 13th Constitutional Amendment Act. Now see this thing, at that point of a time, first of all, neither the Sinhalese Nationalist Party agreed with that, because according to them, a lot more has been given. And at the same time, nor Litte was happy with that, because according to them, a very little has been given. So 13th Constitutional Amendment Act did not got implemented since 1987 up till now. So now Sri Lanka is saying this particular thing, that they will bring the full implementation of 13th Constitutional Amendment Act. So this is something that has been provided. Okay, fine. So Tamil National Alliance, they have been given assurance that complete implementation of 13th Amendment will be brought. So this is, guys, all about this particular article. So I will insist that read the PDF, because here we have provided what is this 13th Constitutional Amendment is all about. ISRO likely to push Venus mission Shukrayaan 1 to 2031. Now, basically, guys, Shukrayaan, it is a dedicated mission to planet Venus. Now, in this article, find what has been provided. Only one thing has come into the news. Guys, see this thing, that when we talk about the ISRO's plan, ISRO has provided that a Venus mission would be launched, and the date for launching the Venus mission was in 2024. Okay, Shukrayaan 1. So this Venus mission Shukrayaan 1 was to be launched in December 2024. And this idea was born in 2012. Now the point is that the plan to launch Shukrayaan 1 has been scrapped as of now. Why? Because of the pandemic. So 21, 22, 20, the pandemic was ongoing. Okay, and because of that, much development did not happen on this particular plan. Now, when we talk about mission Venus or Operation Shukrayaan, we need to plan that particular mission in advance. Understand this particular thing, guys, that launching a spacecraft or launching any probe to another planet, we need to consider a distance. So we need to find optimal window. Optimal window is that time when that distance between the two bodies will be minimum, so that with minimal fuel that journey can be made. So when we talk about Venus, optimal window to the Venus opens at every 19 month. It opens at every 19 month. So therefore, what ISRO has decided, ISRO had provided that launch will be made in 2026, 2028. 2026, 2028 could be an optimal window when the launch can be made. So if we miss 2024, which is anyhow be missed, so we can launch it in 26 or 28. This is an optimal window. But there is even more optimal window. Find even a better opportunity. And that optimal window, okay, it has been provided that there is even more optimal window which opens up every 8 years. So if we miss 2023, then the next optimal window that will be opening is in 2031. So we have options to launch Shukrayaan either in 26, 28, but by 26, 28 it will not be possible, because a lot of work has to be done. So maybe by 2031, where a very optimal window will be opened up, we can do this particular thing. Now, other space agencies have also planned the probes to Venus. For example, US, European space agencies, they also have their Venus missions planned for 2031. So here India can also take the leap. Okay, so Veritas and Envision. Veritas is the Venus plan. Veritas is the Venus plan of US, and Envision is the Venus plan of European Space Agency. Okay, now China might also be going for 26, 27 whenever they want to go. So this is about the Shukrayaan 1 or the Venus mission. Now when we talk about the Shukrayaan 1, it will be an orbiter mission. Orbiter means it will be orbiting the planet, and the payloads that will be carried will be high resolution synthetic aperture radar, a ground penetrating radar which can see within the ground that what minerals, what other compositions are there. Okay, and it is going to study specifically geological, the makeup of the soil, makeup of the rocks, and volcanic activity. Fine, then emissions of the ground, wind speed, cloud cover, all these particular things will be studied by the Shukrayaan. Okay, so that is all, guys, about this particular article. Now moving to next article. Okay, so guys, this particular article, this is basically a kind of a tussle going on between judiciary and government, and every day this article is coming. So if you are following newspaper analysis regularly, you know that this article comes every day. Where what is happening? Fine. On one hand, judiciary says that government is not clearing the name for appointment of judgeship at Supreme Court and High Court. And government says that we want to reform this entire collegium system. Okay, collegium system where for the appointment of Supreme Court judges, Chief Justice of India, collegium is for the appointment of Supreme Court judges, there will be the Chief Justice of India plus 4 senior most Supreme Court judges, and for the High Court appointment, there is again Chief Justice of India and 2 senior most Supreme Court judges. They appoint the names for appointment. Government says that this method of appointment is one where only fine the this is the method of this is the one method where only judiciary is having the power to make the appointment, and it will bring nepotism, it will bring favoritism. So we need to reform this entire system. So this issue is going on. Up till now nothing credible has come, though Supreme Court has listed this particular matter for hearing. Now what government has said, what law minister had said, that now government wants that government nominees should also be there in this collegium. So the collegium where for Supreme Court judges there were 1 CGI and 4 Supreme Court judges, and for High Court there was CJI and 2 Supreme Court judges. This collegium is needed to be reformed. Here we also need to add government nominees. This particular issue has been raised. But guys, do you need to track every day ball by ball commentary? Every day step by step commentary you don't need to track. When some real credible change will come, that is something that we need to see. So on that day that was said, on that day that was said, fine, you don't need to go too much there. Then moving on, video gaming industry separate from real money games. Okay, now guys, see this thing, what has happened. So recently we have taken this particular article that the government is actually now trying to regulate the games where money is staked. So poker, Dream 11, fantasy cricket, these are the games where money is staked. So government wants to regulate that particular industry, and it has been provided that under IT rules 2021, even the games where the money is staked should be regulated. Okay, now the point is that basically the word that has been used is games should be regulated. Now video gaming industry, sport, the football game and or such kind of a games where you just play the games for entertainment purpose, money is not staked, FIFA etc, these kind of games. So it has been said that video gaming industry is separate from real money games, and whatever regulations will come, these regulations should be coming on the games where money is used. Okay, video gaming industry should not be burdened excessively by that particular thing. Is it clear or not? Fine. Okay, so guys, this particular proposal has been sent to the government of India. Now guys, point is that basically when we talk about this thing, basically it is just the draft amendment that have been brought. Fine, just a minute. Yes, so this particular thing, so there are the draft amendments to the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code, that is the IT Rules 2021. There is a guidelines that have been proposed by the MeitY, fine, on online games where deposit can be made. Final thing is yet to come in this particular direction. Okay, till the time some final change will not come, fine, you don't need to track too much this particular thing. Just a proposal has been sent, okay, that you are regulating it, but keep in mind that video games are separate. Okay, now guys, moving on. Supreme Court to hear petition against marital rape from March 21. Okay, so basically guys, what is marital rape? So when a couple is married, when a husband and wife, okay, now it has been provided that first of all, what is rape? Rape is any sexual intercourse where the consent of the other person has not been taken. That is rape. Rape, the definition has been given in section 375 of IPC. But once a couple has been married, husband, even if husband doesn't take the consent of the wife, and if husband without taking a consent carries a sexual intercourse with the wife, that will not be considered as a rape. So marital rape is right now not a crime. But many petitions have been filed which is asking that we need to make marital rape now a crime. Why? Because here we are considering that women's consent don't matter, married women's consent don't matter. So we need to regulate that particular thing. So for that thing, the petitions have been filed, and Supreme Court will hear this thing from March 21. So when this hearing will begin, if something will come in this particular direction, then we need to go and track. Right now, no need to go too much in this particular article. Okay. And guys, now taking the main practice question for today. So question is, Chat GPT is seen as a path-breaking chatbot for AI. However, it is criticized for being a tool which will hamper learning process analyze. So this will be a question for GS paper number 3 as well as GS paper number 4, 10 marker question. Guys, you can write your answer and how to send that answer for evaluation. So if you'll go to our main channel, that is Thinking Pilot by Sahil, you can find a pinned comment there. In that pinned comment, there is a channel link which has been given. That is a peer reviewed platform. Peer reviewed platform means you will upload your answers, your other fellow friends can give you certain suggestions, or you can see their answers as what they have done. So by that particular method you can use it. That is all guys about today. We come to an end to this particular session now. That is all for today's guys. We'll meet tomorrow. Till then, please take care of your